which is D2, right? Which is 3D, what we see solid, which is emotional. Mind stuff. It all starts with funny laughter and nervous giggling. So anyway, herself is rapidly putting together the kind of, she's doing the alchemy on it. And at 11:11, guys, we got to be set and ready to go with an activation that we're going to do in relation to all of that. So that rather sets our agenda for the rest of the evening, really. So we'll do what we do, we just cope and get on with it. However, there could be some, some traces and bits and pieces of rubbish flying around over the next few days, because this thing matures and develops over the next 15, if I recollect correctly. So the first 3 days of it are going to be a bit, could be, I don't want to say that, could be a bit wacky. So keep an eye on yourselves emotionally, right, and each other. And, be kind and loving and gentle and helpful, and try and help us if it comes to it by remembering that we're prone to, let's say, a certain kind of stimulus in that particular area of our beingness, which we call the emotional. So anyway, what's to do? We've got to complete this prep, which won't take too long now. And Ash will be with us. She's sworn to me on many occasions. But tonight she will be here at 10:30. She'll do intro prep and the rest of it, and then we'll be into the activation on time at 11:11. So there'll be just a little time for you all to get comfort break. You will need to, be comfortable enough to remain here in the room from, pretty much 10:30 through till midnight. And you need to stay together in that period of time. Okay? Tomorrow is going to be the kind of chart and tech-heavy day, really. All right? Because of what has developed today. Okay, then. Well, if you want to get ready for the final technique of the day, notwithstanding the activation that's coming later. Was that a last will and testament you were signing then? It was, wasn't it? Okay. Appreciate your confidence. You sign things you don't read? See me tomorrow. We need to keep smiles up, we need to keep chuckling here. All right, what we're going to do now is we're going to move into the myadic level that I referred to earlier today. And this technique is entitled the Interplanetary Myad Starseed Rebirth and Monad Reclamation. And we begin this quite literally where we left off. So we need to begin by activating our Sadi spheres. So you're just going to take a couple of amplifying breaths. All right, you're going to be inhaling from the Azure and exhale a sphere up to and around the pineal, around your head. Just a couple of breaths like that. So you're moving your sphere in its original basketball size from the Azure, around the Azure, up to the pineal. And then just a couple of gentle exhales just to charge the Sadi sphere, Sadi Seta sphere. And now on the next inhale, draw a deep, long inhale and hold. I should say bring that breath up to the pineal and hold. Now on the exhale, push the Sadi sphere and at the same time expand it to the size you set it to this afternoon. In one movement on the exhale, go down to the Azure. Sadi sphere expands to the large size you set it at before. the beloveds say at the beginning of step 3 is you're about to enter a very sacred zone. The Sadi sacred zone has been long awaited in your densities and your Vecca systems. You are among the first teams in your density 1 system. That means all the planets and stars in your density 1 system. You are one of the first teams to activate and fulfill the second tachyon cycle of the dyad. This is an occasion for even greater celebration. Before the celebration can occur, there is a return, a second glimpse of home, through the finalization of the tachyon dyad cycle number 2. This finalization has to do with the release of the heliotalic spark for igniting of the helium bonds within the dyadic tachyons. This will allow the Adama flame to again spark, as in the tachyon Tauran cycle 1, and open the creation point. And at that point, there will again be a small but definite feeling of source inhale. We are going to ride that inhale inward into our dyad and Tauran, into our Azare, to our dyad and Tauran, and we will again go into a sacred place. It is not a place to visualize. It is not a place of sound or light, because it is beyond and before those things. It is a place of direct cognition, a direct touching of the consciousness of Source. Your Tauran light unit and your dyad unit are going to do this in this dyad tachyon cycle number 2. So the beloveds invite you to ride with your Tauran and dyad to see what you can feel, because it is a feel thing. So you don't have to worry about holding visions or hearing sounds. You simply ride when the moment comes, when the flame allows the drawing in of the Tauran and dyad. You will put a mini-me into the creation point and keep a tether line between the mini-me and yourself, so you can feel what is being experienced by that part of yourself that will go home with the Tauran and dyad. And it will come back with the birth of the Mayad, the 636 starseed. And even more than this, as it were, it is an opportunity to touch those frequencies that are long awaited here in this Echo-Vecca system. The key to this is a call to the solar shield for a spark of heliotalic energy. And we are now going to bring it in through the 14th chakra and to the Azare, and then we're going to bring another one up from the Eartha shield to meet it at the Azare. So we will begin by inhaling from the Eartha shield all the way up to chakra 14 and all the way out, as far as you can imagine. Wait. Imagine going all the way out to our sun. So if you can together, inhale now, deeply and long. Hold the inhale for a moment with the intention of pulling a heliotalic rainbow spark back down into the Azare from the solar shield right now. Wait. We'll do that again, because it's important that we get this to work in just quite the right way. All right. Now, first off, inhale from the Eartha shield all the way up to chakra 14 and all the way out, as far as you can imagine, all the way out to the sun. Now, inhale now, and hold the inhale with the intention of pulling a heliotalic rainbow spark back down into the Azare from the solar shield right now. Now, wait. Hold it. Now exhale really slowly down to the Azare and deposit the solar spark within the Azare. And breathe out until you empty your lungs. Just breathe out, and hold momentarily. And then inhale long, slow, and in an upward direction from the Azare to chakra 14. When you hit maximum lung capacity, exhale rapidly downward to Eartha core. Hold the exhale. Lungs empty. Now inhale and draw a rainbow spark, a heliotalic spark upward to the Azare from Eartha core. At the top of the breath, hold for a moment. and then gently release the rainbow spark into the azure. Good. Good stuff. And then just breathe gently for a few moments and just relax. Just bring your attention back to your bodies a minute. Just relax. Relax. Now I'm going to describe the next step. Just breathe gently for now. What we're next going to do is to inhale at the azure, but with a backward motion, moving from the front area of the azure back into the parta key center of the Toran and Dyad stationed within the azure. So we're going to be using a quick burst inhale to bring the sparks into the center of the Toran and the Dyad. And when we've done that, we're going to hold the breath. So the next inhale you take, and you can do it in your own time, you'll be inhaling at the azure, but you'll be pulling the breath, as it were, backwards through the azure towards the rear of it. Not to the back of your body, but towards the rear of the azure, okay, into the center of the Toran and Dyad stationed in the azure. Okay, so a quick burst inhale, pull the spark into the center of the Toran and Dyad, and hold that. Now here's there's a reaction taking place between the Adama flame and the sparks of heliotalic frequency. The sparks are calling the heliotalic sparks from the helium bonds, igniting the helium, calling the heliotalic sparks. Okay, now do a short, sharp exhale. And this will spread out all the way in front of you and then through you instead of up and down. Okay, now breathe gently. And just take a few moments to do your very best to create a state of very calm stillness within yourself and your mind. Because very soon the diamond door will open. And it is only at the opening point that you will be able to ride the Om back home. The state of calm and stillness within yourself is important. With that characteristic to the forefront of your mind, you will be able to ride your consciousness back into touch, the consciousness of God's source directly, and its pure, non-manifest form. And you will come back out with the rebirth of the Mayad. And once you have accomplished this in the indigo shield, it will be time to assist the Eartha and solar shields to rebirth the solar and planetary starseed. Just continue to take other moments of gentle breathing, waiting for the reaction in the center of the creation point, waiting for the opening of the diamond door. In a moment, I will count you into a collective inhale. And during that inhale, you will imagine a small version of yourself floating on the inhale down through the center of the Toran Dyad to the creation point. When I've counted you into the inhale and you've completed it, you will hold your breath. At that point and during the course of holding your breath, the Om flame will surround you. This will happen automatically. You won't have to think or visualize it. And then you just return to relaxed breathing. So on 3, long, slow, deep inhale, please. 1, 2, 3. Imagine a small version of yourself floating on this inhale down through the center of the Toran Dyad to the creation point. Hold this breath. The young flame is coming. The young flame will be surrounding you now. And just exhale very slowly and gently and resume normal relaxed breathing. If you can, just slow your breathing a little more, because you're going to be asked to do something that sounds illogical, but isn't. we want you to imagine that your base pulse rhythm is now beginning to accelerate very rapidly. Moving so fast that it may even seem it's beginning to go in a slow movement. The rate of oscillation, in other words, becoming so rapid that it would appear or feel as if it were completely still. It is through the slow movement that you will be able to touch the eternal source consciousness beyond the diamond door. And beyond the diamond door there's a lovely flame, the flame of Rashala, which you enter, you cross effectively as you pass through the diamond door into the creation point. And when you return, when you cross through the flame of Rashala, through the diamond door into the creation point, you will return as the bearer of the flame. For in it you will carry in your mini-me and your Tauran and Dyad starlight unit, the configuration of the flame of Rashala, and the first level of being in your eternal body. Just continue to breathe gently and slowly. Try to sense now the small self, the mini-me, which you sent through, and to the creation point to touch the consciousness of Source. Try to sense what that mini-me is feeling. And the stress is not on seeing anything or hearing anything, but simply on feeling. On your feeling what your mini-me is feeling. At most, there may be a rumble of sorts somehow felt by you. And this would be no more or less than the current which runs behind the creation point in the consciousness of Source. A rumble that would indicate a birthing will soon take place as the Tauran and Dyad return, and with them the Mayad starseed. Your mini-me will be replicated, and the Tauran and Dyad will remain intact, but they will also have a replica of themselves in the Mayad. Now, time for an inhale to chakra 14. No synchronization necessary now. In your own time, take a long, slow inhale all the way from the Azure up to chakra 14 and hold the breath there. And when we say to you to exhale, hold the breath a while, it will be at the very point at which the Tauran and Dyad return, with the Mayad being born. And I think it would be nice to do this together on 3, so exhale on 3. 1, 2, 3. The new birth of the Mayad starseed begins the rebirth cycle of the monad, progressively releasing the monad from metatronic threshold sextant shield distortion, thereby enabling your entire crystal body, teleosphere structure, to engage initiation of the Eartha Sala Aurora potential through activation of the lights of Aurora within the teleosphere and the Aurora force within the atomic core and elemental cellular body. You will now share this gift of the rebirth of the Mayad 636 eternal life starseed and the return of the Aurora potential with the Eartha planetary shield. The indigo shield and each body in it that chooses to participate will serve as a living conduit through which the frequencies of Mayad rebirth from the Sala shield can reach down to the Eartha shield. We will therefore be the intermediary arcs that allow for the natural arcing to take place, that normally occurs between the staffs and rods of the planets and their suns. For now, the indigo shield will serve that role for Urta, and Urta will serve that role for the portions of the Earth shield and its life field that can anchor the host of Aurora for rainbow spiral evac. Okay, so the next inhale will be from the Azure, inhaling to chakra 14, 36 inches above the head. Before you begin, be aware of your ascension tube, and on the exhale, breathe down and pull yourself down, your little self and your large self if you can, all the way down to the core of Urta on the exhale, down the ascension tube, okay? So, just to recap, you're going to inhale from the Azure all the way to chakra 14. You should be setting your awareness of your ascension tube, if you remember, which is the same diameter as your spheres, all right? And on the exhale, you're going to effectively send your mini-me and yourself, if you can manage it, all the way down that ascension tube, all the way down to the core of Urta. And when you've done that, then you'll breathe gently. All right, this is something you need to do as individuals rather than the collective. So in your own time, long, slow, deep inhale from the Azure all the way to chakra 14, being aware of your ascension tube all around you, not interfering with anybody else's. And then when you're ready, a good strong exhale, but one in which you pull yourself, pull, don't push, pulling yourself down and your little self all the way down into the core of Urta. And then breathe gently. Now, imagine that in the core of Urta, again, tell yourself a little story if you can't project the imagination, that in the core of Urta there is a smaller tauron and distorted 666 dyad. It is the convoluted tauron and metatronic demon seed dyad of the falling Earth. Earth's tauron is harnessed and turned upside down, and it has been blocking the natural function of the Urta tauron and dyad for a very long time. The Urta tauron and dyad have managed to activate despite this disability, but it is now time for Urta core to function naturally to be able to ride Starfire. So how we approach this, just imagine you're going to inhale a spark of Urta core heliotalic frequency. You will inhale that spark of heliotalic frequency from Urta core up into your body to pick up the natural myad encryption. And in picking that up, you're going to, when I tell you it's time to do this, you're going to exhale the Urta heliotalic spark and bring it sharply down and through your small body that is in your Rachele, down into the Urta core, and you're going to move the heliotalic spark towards the center point of the Urta shield, where the 3 balls used to be and where there is now a flame. You will project the spark down and over to the center point in the Urta shield. Okay? So, you're going to inhale a spark of Urta, core heliotalic frequency. You're going to do this on a count of 3. In doing it, you'll pick up the natural myad encryption. When you exhale, you will exhale the myadic encryption through the Urta heliotalic spark. Bring it down sharply through your small body, down into Earth core, and there you will move the spark toward the center point of the Urta shield where the 3 balls used to be and where there is now a flame. You will project the spark down and over to the center point in Urta shield. So on 3, inhale. Spark, Urta core spark, heliotalic frequency. 1, 2, 3. Up we come. Hold. Picking up the myadic encryption. Okay, in a minute. On 3, you will actually bring the spark sharply down on the exhale, down through your small body, down into Earth core, and move the spark forcefully across to where the 3 balls used to be and into the flame at the center of Urta shield. 1, 2, 3. Good. And now we have a brief but quite moving finale entitled 1, The Gift of Eternal Love. With this final exhale, you have sent the gift of the natural rebirth myad 636 starseed activated encryption that you and the indigo shield received from the natural rebirth of the Sala solar myad and into Eartha shield. This gift of eternal love will now expedite the completion and fulfillment of Eartha's dyad tachyon cycle number 2, allowing Eartha to rebirth her natural 636 myad starseed within the next 3 hours. That is 3 hours from when this technique has been completed and the indigo shield delivers the gift to Eartha core. This is the second and the final part of the closing, entitled The Gift of Eternal Life and Return of the Aurora Potential, which is simply automatic activation set up by Eartha shield progressively after the Eartha myad rebirth. And the consequence of that is this: when Eartha rebirths her myad 636 starseed, a wonderful chain of energetic events next initiate as Eartha sends back to the indigo shield and the Sala solar shield a return gift of eternal life potential. Being gentle and kindly to yourselves, bring your focus and attention and consciousness back into the room. Slowly, gently and easily. It would be lovely and not inappropriate to reflect briefly on the phenomenal but simple indigo business you've just completed. And I would say, should you need to make yourselves comfortable anyway, you have 10 minutes of that or quiet time before Ashana 2 gets down to lead us into the 11:11 activation. So if you want to walk around, take a break, sit and talk, whatever you like to do, approximately 10 minutes or so, 15 tops, and we'll be heading towards the 11:11 for the evening. Okay. We thought that it'd be helpful before I read to you the detail that we have to read or give you. I'm sorry about the projector. We're going to have to get it changed for tomorrow. Many of you will recognize this chart by its other name, which is the Chariot of Fire, okay? Which is just to give a reference for those people who may not have seen it before, but I'm sure most of you have. The key part, though, that you're not familiar with is what we're going to... I can't even make it show you this, but anyway. You'll hear something described as a ruta. And a ruta, there are 60 of them in the teliosphere, which are these guys. And the structure of them contains, I mean, you can't even see what is a little detail down here, but when I refer to the three towers encircle and are embodied by this ruta, okay? With the 12 Ruche points in this configuration, which is the organic one. And the distorted version of the same thing is where you have the Ruche realigned in this artificial cross, okay? So all I'm doing right now is to try and help you to visualize a little bit what the ruta is. That's the key point. And the fact that it has the new concept of the three towers in each of them, and there are 60 of them in the teliosphere. When you hear it come up in this piece of detail, that visual aid, when you can see it, will help you to understand what I'm referring to. We have some magic? Yep. Good chap.
There you go, sir.
Whee! Round of applause. So, the ruta, there are 60 of them in the Tilia cluster, in the Tilia screen, okay? There are 3 towers, and there are 12 Templar within each one of these. So this piece of information, before we get to 1111, I'll try and get there quickly enough without ruining it, is entitled The Gift of Eternal Life and Return of the Aurora Potential, which reads as follows. As Urta's Myad 636 starseed rebirths, a chain of incredible energetic events initiates in the Urta shield, and the Urta shield transmits these events in an energy back way directed towards the indigo shield and the Sala solar shield, which we were hearing at the end of the last technique. Now, the first section is entitled Urta's Monad Restores and Urta's Racial Grids and Radio Body Free from the Threshold Net Phase Lock. You're here already? Do you want to do this bit, or shall I carry on? All right, okay. As Urta Myad rebirths, Urta's monad simultaneously activates and breaks free from Metatronic 5-5 sextant harness generated through the Beast Machine and the Threshold Golden Serpent grid of the Falling Earth Shield. The 5-5 sextant harness, which is in this illustration here, okay? That's the alternative to the organic form. The 5-5 sextant harness, created through the 666 demon seed dyad and myad distortion of Earth's reversed bug-eye Tauran seed of the Earth shield, had caused Earth's natural radio body racial grids, that's the vector density timelines oblique radio body cells, to phase lock into the Daisy of Death configuration, thereby holding the Urta body hostage to the falling Earth body it had hosted. Activation of Urta's monad causes the Urta monad to outphase and open naturally, which causes the rest of the Urta light body to break the sextant daisy harness and return the organic light body cells to their natural positions, thus freeing the Urta racial grids and radio body axiom and meridian lines from Metatronic phase lock. Item 2 is Urta's 60 Ruta, which is what I was pointing out to up here on the left. On your left, as you look at it, yes. This is time tunnel sets, and these activate their crystal templars and towers. Restoration of Urta's monad and release of the racial grid, radio body sextant daisy harness, causes the 60 Ruta crystal templar sets, that's the 60 sets of 1 Ruche, 12 plus 3 time tubes or tunnels of the 60 Tilia. The Templar sets of the 60 Tilia in the Urta crystal body Tiliosphere to break free of the sextant threshold harness and return to their organic Ruche configuration. Upon rapid return to their natural order, the 60 Ruta clusters of Urta activate, each activating first their core blue 13, what's this, hun? 13 tower? Core blue, number 13, the center tower, yeah, right. And then the 12-6 and the 3-9 inner harmonic templars. Then the 10-11, 4-5, 1-2, and 9-8 outer octave sets. Then 15 outer octave parameter, then 14 middle Edon. From, this didn't really read very well, from the DN2 shield Azure, then the DN1, that's density 1, density 3, Iombi and Rajna, then the density 4 and density 5, and Ethos. Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to go as quickly as I can, probably, because it's almost time. Are we? Yeah. All right. Okay. Section or item 3 is the Urta crystal body. The Urta crystal body tilts back to natural vector axis and overrides Earth Shona field Tilia false memory matrix. Once the 60 Ruta clusters activate all of their Templars and towers, and in total there are 720 Templars and 180 towers, the natural, that's the 3 that I pointed out, multiplied by 60 obviously, the natural Rute clusters override the artificial sextant distorted Earth Teliosphere false memory matrix Shona mind control grid, shifting the Eartha Teliosphere and crystal body back to its organic vector axis and out of alignment with the Earth's 23.5 oblique 11.5 crystal body Teliosphere tilt. Restoration of the Ruta-Telea clusters separates the Eartha portions of the planetary shield from the falling Earth portions of the planetary shield by restoring Eartha portions to their original angular rotation of particle spin and organic base pulse rhythms. Section 4 is entitled 60 Ruta cluster spin, accelerate and broadcast arc. As the 60 Ruta clusters restore the angular rotation, particle spin, and BPR, base pulse rhythm, and Vector axis angle of the Eartha shield, the Ruta clusters enter their natural time tunnel vortex opening cycle. Each Ruta cluster and its inherent templars and towers initiate spin and progressively accelerate spin speed. As the Ruta clusters accelerate, they begin to broadcast, quote unquote, sending first a set of 12 natural arcs out from the core 13 Ruta tower to the 12 harmonic octave templars. Activation of the broadcast arcs initiates spin of the trion mirage fields. Can you do that one? And parameter shields and light cells of each of the 60 tilia. Activation of the broadcast Ruta-Telea arcs activates the Crystal Canyon time wave set of each of the 60 tilia, progressively opening the transharmonic primary and transdomain core time tunnel vortices. At this point of Eartha Templar Ruta activation, the originally organic elemental atomic etheric electromagnetic barrier between the larger Eartha sphere and the smaller Earth sphere within it, parens, which is a protection distraction field, which is a protection diffraction field that seals a damaged hosting planet shield from the organic healthy planetary shield of its host planet. So the larger Earthosphere and the smaller Earth sphere within it would naturally begin to dissolve as the activated host planet teleosphere crystal canyon sets send broadcast arcs to the corresponding set of 60 Ruta clusters in the hosting planetary shield.
There's an arc in all the little teleospheres in their natural configuration. They would become like pillars, like this way. Each one of those points. They would be arcing together through their own spheres, because there's a sphere around each of those teleas. Inside there would be the smaller Earth sphere with its teleospheres, and the larger arcs would start arcing into the Earth one, and they would all activate and get ready to do
as I thought you asked me what my name was. As the hosting planet 60 Ruta-Telea cluster set activates and begin to broadcast arc, the 60 Ruta crystal canyon sets of time tunnels in both host and hosting planet would open, progressively accelerating the planet's base pulse rhythm and progressively moving the planet into a state of Rachalet through progressive fulfillment of its tachyon cycles. At the natural completion of the planetary tachyon cycles, the planet would enter full Rachalet activation. The crystal core capsule, is this a new word, hon? Crystal?
Probably not.
There.
Oh, Christar. Yes.
Yes.
Christar. Christar and Death Star. We are dealing with crystal containment capsules, one natural, one not. Go ahead.
New word. Happens all the time at home. Okay. The planet would enter full Rachalet activation the Christ star crystal core capsule would form. The crystal body would turn to gaseous light vapor, and the planet would starfire into the middle Edon domains for recharge and renewal.
Okay, just hold it right there for 2 seconds. It's going to be hard to see. It'll be a mylar by tomorrow. However, this is going to show you that there is a crystal containment thing that is natural, the Christ star vehicle, that forms when this outer flame here is the outer Amareya flame body. This small flame down here is that core Rochelet flame. It actually replicates to 4, where it looks like a 4-leaf clover, where you have 4 of these flames, each with the center point there, and it forms this capsule around it where the Cathara grid was, and it's called the Christ star capsule. Now, that's what naturally would occur in a normal starfire cycle, would be that process, and then everything pulls in through the center of it, and the whole Christ star capsule goes into source, all the way in. It goes through the starfire, and then pops all the way into source, then comes back out in a new renewal rebirth cycle. This can't happen on this planet because of Earth's twisted shield, so something else is going to happen. And before we go into talking about what's called the Death Star capsule, the reason, it's been wacky today, there's an activation taking place that's going to begin around 11:11. It starts there, but as far as when it hits here, they'll let us know. It's not our activation, it's a threshold activation. Now, if we recall, I do believe today is the 27th, isn't it? Last time I checked, I think it was. Yes, that is the Hitharo electrical peak, and it is also when the red pulse for Starburst Pillar 2, which is the elemental kingdom, comes through. That's the light field we perceive as solid here. So the activations of the threshold are going to be accelerated and riding on both of those things, the red pulse that's coming in on the natural starburst and the Hitharo electrical activation to begin with. The activation of this thing called the Aurora force needs to take place now, or it won't be able to happen. We have to do certain things that I don't know yet. It's going to come through live as far as when the 11:11 type, around 11:11 activation happens. Then that will be part 1. Then I'll be able to talk a little bit about more of what this is so it makes a bit more sense before tomorrow. And then we'll go into the second part, which is going to be the first part of activating the Aurora force within the body. And I'll just let you go back to there. But we're going to talk about Death Star now. I don't have a drawing of that, but it looks like a 6-sided crystal. It's called the sextant crystal, and it's formed from what has been referred to as the 5-5 mutation, which splits the natural Vecca configuration and creates what's called the Metatronic cube configuration. And from the Metatronic cube configuration, the sextant 6-sided crystal containment Death Star field forms. The Death Star field is activating on Earth as this 11:11 activation commences. And that's why we're kind of in a hurry today. And it's been, well, welcome to Grid Keepers, if you know what I mean. All right, I'm done. You go back, please. Where were we?
Yeah,
Christ
I can
Star.
see. We're here.
We're going to be activating that, by the way.
Continues. In completion of the starfire cycle, the planet would then enter its starborn phase, contract its Christ star, or Christ star, depending on how you want to say that, Christ star capsule into source, completely disappearing to God's source, then rebirthing to begin a new starborn cycle of Christic evolution. Okay, that's the one you made earlier, right? When the Eartha Crystal Canyon time tunnel vortices open, the Rutar cluster broadcast towers cannot successfully arc to activate the 60 Rutar cluster sets of the Earth teliosphere. Huh? What?
Just keep going.
Okay. The sextant threshold Metatronic crystal body distortion of the falling Earth shield has initiated activation of Demon Seed 5-5 monadic reversal mutation, which is echoed in the Earth Talia as the 5-5 face-locked Metatronic configuration and fragmentation of the 60 Rutar clusters, their Templars and towers and time tunnels. The threshold activation of March 2006 initiated activation of the 5-5 sextant glass tower structures which progressively form the Death Star, parens instead of the Christ star crystal ascension capsule. The 5-5 sextant shield and telea mutation splits the natural telea and Vector structures into Metatron's cube and the sextant Death Star hexagonal fall capsule.
It'll split. At first, it stops the natural vertical and horizontal alignments and splits these two currents into that 60-degree thing that forms the Daisy of Death configuration, and that allows it to run the golden serpent spiral of the threshold. And at that point, once the sextant crystal starts to form, that is a containment crystal for black hole fall, and it creates a permanent barrier between the natural Earth field and the Earth field. So there's this very, very strange energetic field that is beginning activation as we speak in the planetary field, and it will create the separation while we're still together, while the planet's still holding together. I don't know what this is going to look like. There's already been an earthquake. I heard a little bit blurb on the news over in Indonesia somewhere. I don't know if it happened last night or this morning, but they said there was a very large a number of casualties. And I haven't got confirmation yet, but I think that's the next evac wave that we talked about a while back with Starburst. So where this is going after this, I don't know, but this is a very extreme shift. You're having the Earth part of the crystal body shifting back to its natural axis very quickly, and you're having the other one start its final fall into the Death Star axis. I don't know what kind of geographical phenomena that may create, but what we are going to do is get our own encryption fully set and activated within the Eartha shield so we can ride the frequencies of the base pulse rhythms of the Eartha shield, which will allow us to go into Christ star activation progressively. Now, there's a lot of people on the planet that because we are doing this will be able to catch that eventually. If not right now, they'll be able to catch it before it's fully too late. But others will be having their auric fields take on the configuration of the Death Star crystal. So I just wanted to add that. And I think, is there any more on there?
A little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit. Finally, then, the Death Star sextant capsule forms around Earth's shield, blocking natural Earth-to-Earth router broadcast tower communication. The Aurora Force is a dual encryption of Erta and the original Amenti rescue shield that will allow some of Earth's life field to activate the Aurora Force, in their telea to form the double Rouchet router cluster, by which their encryption will set into Erta and purge out the threshold activation to prevent formation of the Death Star capsule, and etc., and etc., and etc.
Thank you, darling. Thank you, my beloved Asa, for a very long day. No, I'm not going to break into these yet, I don't think. No, we got about 4 minutes. Wait. No, since we don't have, I'm not going to do diagrams if we have 4 minutes, because every time I say I'll go quick, it takes me forever. All right. We'll get back to the diagrams after the first part of this activation. This is basically, I believe, being able to ride through and stabilize our fields through into the Eartha core while this red pulse is coming through. When the red pulses come through on Starburst, as we have talked before about Starburst, it feels like a million years at this point, when it was only back in 2005 in January where we did Pillar 13 Starburst, and then we had, of course, last Hitharo in the desert in Morocco, and Demon Fest, when that was the first Pillar 1. Now we're on Pillar 2. When we hit it, they are a 15-day cycle. Starbursts are 15-day cycles, and I believe the dates that I had marked down as the Starburst day is the day 13 point when the red pulse comes through, and what it does is it shatters the crystal body of that dimensional level. Now, this one, we've always, even before Starfire, we've known might be interesting and might have some interesting after effects because it is the D2 crystal body that is going to go through the shatter experience. It's also going to be connected with these threshold activations that are unfortunately coming through as well. This is the emotional body on our personal levels and on the planetary level, which is the telluric or elemental kingdom, which is the kingdoms we see as solid and as our what we call our 3D world out here. It is really our 2D world that we're seeing from the 3D mental body perspective. And I've always wondered if this was going to be a little rocky through this one. That was before Starfire and all of the Threshold. So they're going to teach us, I believe, first through the first activation. They're going to let me know when it hits, because once it starts, there's a rumble. I've already felt little bursts of it. I don't know if any of you have sensed it. You can feel it almost like as if it had a sound, but you can't quite hear it, and it's way down inside the earth. There's been cold fusions running up every once in a while. I don't know if any of you have got that yet either, but these are some of the things I was experiencing as it was getting closer to the time I was coming down. There was at one point something released in the planetary grids, because I remember feeling it. I was fine one moment, and I was doing translation from the Beloveds, and all of a sudden just a whoosh of something. It came so fast, it was almost like, did something just do that? Did I just feel something whoosh up from down below my feet? It made my whole body freezing. I had 4 coats on, and I was outside, and it was warmer actually outside than it was in the inside, and I was still freezing, and it made me absolutely ornery instantly, which was really strange. Like, I was just ready to bite. The cold was hurting. It was just like really freaky, and then it passed as easy as it came. So I don't know if you'll get any of those effects with this, but I do think this was before they reminded me, remember Starburst? I said, oh yeah, we've been a little busy with Starfire. I said, remember Pillar 2? Yes, it's going off right today, tonight. Oh, okay. So these are some of the experiences I've had with the weird energies that are running today. The good news about all of this is what we'll understand more tomorrow. Here we go again, just like in Phoenix. We'll understand more tomorrow, because I'll have time to do the technicals that go with these activations. But as far as this aurora force, it is right now has been dormant to any of the life fields here on this planet. But because of the conditions of the fact that the Eartha crystal ruta, whatever they're called, ruta clusters are activating, it will allow for this particular special aurora force to activate. This aurora force was a gift by certain races to this planet a long, long time ago when the Amente rescue mission was first set. It is the only place actually that I think in creation that actually has this particular force. There's similar things have been done in other matrices at other times for similar reasons, but this particular group is named after the particular aurora races who committed themselves to riding with us on this planet and with Eartha in order to get us to this point in case it was necessary to evac out from Density 1. And Density 1 has 3 universal stargates, and Eartha is SG3, and Sala, which is our sun, is SG4. Now, both of those are host systems, where Sol, the part of our sun that was hosted from the Amente fall, that is also falling, but the Sala part isn't. It ought to be interesting to see if there's sunspot activity after this one. If there's not, I would be amazed, actually. So anyway, they're saying, all right, we're getting ready now. What do they want us to do? What do you want us to do? Okay, calm down to start. He just said, calm down. Right, I've been getting a little jumpy since I was walking down the hall. It was just, I could feel the intensity of what was coming, and kind of like, I wouldn't say the severity, but the significance was beginning to open. And I was going to, uh-oh. Right. Okay. Let's just take a deep cleansing breath or two. You guys' fields are looking great after those activations. They're very, very, very shining. Got little lotuses on your heads. That's neat. Right? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I have one too. I haven't had time to look. I've got. Who do I have online? Is Hot Tours? No, they're over here. We've got Crystal A online again. The great unspoken ones who speak in no voice, but all voices at one time, which is great. Now, all right, they're saying let's get quiet for a moment in our energy fields and in our minds and try to calm the emotional bodies down to a very just relaxed level. And we're going to consider ourselves observers of energetic events that are actually beginning to move now through the planet. There are two aspects of the planet. They are the Earth aspects and the Eartha original aspects. There are two sets of conflicting energies that are moving through the grids of both at this point. In the quietness, see if you can hear or sense the vibration of a rumble that is taking place deep in Earth core. It is a rumble from the Earth core, not the Eartha core. If you can even sense the feel of that rumble, it's very jittery feeling from what I'm picking up. It's very shaky and unstable and doesn't seem to have a natural circulating pulse. It's jittering all over the place and very sporadic. It feels very deep right now. They're saying that is going to get more pronounced. It is going to, at a certain point, pop upward in many directions at once through the Earth shield from the Earth core. And the part of your telluric body, the part of what you call your physical body, that is connected to the Earth will feel a bit of that rumble. But there is also a part of your body that is connected to something called the aurora field. Now, the aurora field is that field we've talked about, the field of a special wave bands that will allow your encryption to become part of the natural encryption of the original Eartha shield fully. We did a part of this in the Taran activations, where we got the core light seed encryption set. Now we are going to set the imprint of ourselves in the form of dyad and myad, our star seed, which will hold the contents of our multidimensional identities. So we're literally seeding the who we are of the entire 1728 plus, particularly plus because most people here are indigos, imprint that is going to go fully in to the Eartha shield with this. It will go in through the aurora force. The aurora force has been dormant since the Amente rescue mission was set in motion down here in this density 1 system. The aurora force is connected to the molecular structure and the subatomic structure of every atom of matter of the Eartha shield. And it carries a replica encryption of the original Amente imprint of the Earth shield. Which means if it weren't for the aurora force, we would not be able to, as Amente races or post-Amente races, ones who came in after the fall of Amente and after the Amente rescue mission was set here, of the Earth field, we would be as strangers to the Eartha shield if it weren't for the aurora field that will allow us to actually have our Earth encryption imbued directly into the Eartha shield, where the Eartha shield will accept it as a natural part of itself. It means the Eartha shield had agreed a long time ago to host out whatever rescue committees were still here in the event that these type of events took place. The aurora field will begin its activation process through the thing we will do right after that burst we talked about from the Earth shield comes up. We have to send something downward past it, through it, and into the Eartha shield. It will first intersect with what is the aurora field, and that will begin the activation of the aurora force, which is, you can picture it like a protective spherical blanket around the now falling Death Star capsule of the Earth that is inside of the larger sphere of the now correcting itself and activating crystal body and teliosphere of Eartha. Imagine a little band of energy that has been dormant and it's not sparkly yet, but it is going to become a sparkly field of, if you imagine what the aurora borealis are like, with the the waves of light and bands of light that are caused by, and the aurora borealis are caused by the energies from the sun intersecting with the atmosphere of the Earth and exciting the particles at the poles of the Earth. That one's at the north. Well, we're going to get a similar effect when the Earth sends up its jittery pulse that begins the process of the threshold Death Star activation. We will be asked to send a strong breath down from our Azure down toward the Earth core, and then past the Earth core deeper into what would be the Eartha core. Before our breath and that part of our energy can intersect with the Eartha core, it will first pass through that band called the aurora field. As we send the energy down through and it intersects with the aurora field, it will bring the aurora field into activation to the part that we are capable of activating, which is the part that connects to the Earth shield. It has a replica imprint of the Earth shield in it. Now, because the aurora races are still with us, they are guardians that have been with this project for a long time. The Ishanue races are particularly the ones right now who are going to release the corresponding co-creation codes that will activate their part, which is the Eartha shield part of the aurora field. And when those two sets of codes, ours coming down in and touching it, and theirs coming up from the Eartha shield and touching it from the other side, it will bring the bands of light and color, the particle excitement of the aurora field to life, and it will begin activating the aurora field. And at that point, the aurora field will wrap around the part of the energy of ourselves, the spark we will send down, and it will take it down into the Eartha core. And then we will be able to inhale up and bring energy directly from the Eartha core up through and out our crown chakra, out chakra 14. And what that will do is actually bring up the ascension pillar around us. It will activate all the things you've been activating today. It will bring them into very high level activation through the aurora force. This will first bring the aurora force bands of color into all of those aspects of the anatomy, the sati spheres, all the aspects of your anatomy. It will begin to run in your axiotonal lines and your meridian lines. It will begin to run your crystal body. It will begin the process very, very quickly of changing the Metatronic sextant distortions in your Talia spheres back into their natural Rouchet configurations fully, and they will light up, and they will become what are known as the lights of aurora. So in your fields, by the time this activation is done, you will carry with you the beginning activations in every layer, every dimensional layer of your crystal body will be affected by this, because remember, every dimensional layer has a Talia sphere level. Every level of your Talia sphere will progressively turn on the lights of aurora, which will blow out the distortion of the sextant configuration in each of the Talia spheres, which is what's holding the false memory matrix there. So it ought to be interesting to see what we can remember after these activations happen. And from that point on, we will, every time we breathe, we will be breathing the lights of aurora. So if you ever have any dreams after this where you're seeing yourself sleeping and you're watching colors come in and out of your nose and your mouth as you're watching yourself sleep, you're actually seeing yourself sleep from a different level, because this is a different configuration that you will have in your aura than anybody else on the planet right now. And it will be something, because you are doing it, it will start running where the indigo shield itself will be breathing the aurora field through, in making it available to anything in the planetary shields that can pick up any little vibration of its encryption. Some of the encryption that is carried in the aurora field is the original Amente imprints of Earth, and even like D1, D2, D3 level. So there are some people and life forms and grids on this planet and on the Earth part of this planet that will still be able to plug in to enough of the aurora bands so they can catch the rainbow spiral to get pulled out of the Metatronic spiral that is phase locking into Isidrak fall. So this is the beginning of a very exciting process, because once the lights of aurora begin to turn on in your fields, They will start with your teliospheres, work their way through the axiotonal lines, meridian lines, and all those things. They will begin to turn on, they said, within 48 hours. Whoa, that's fast. Within 48 hours, within the what? Within the, that's not a word here. They just gave me on a Odyssey. All right, they're showing me pictures, and I know what they're referring to. Within the quarks that form the protons within the nucleus of your atoms. There we go. That took a bit. All right. The aurora bands will begin to pulse through. They will begin to hold open and pulse open the diamond door, center creation points in the atoms. And your bodies, your physical bodies, will start to get the lights of aurora, pulses, that will allow progressively your base pulse rhythm to stabilize within the natural time tunnels base pulse rhythms that are opening with the crystal canyons and with the natural Christ star vehicle. It is the beginning of activating the Christ star crystal capsule that goes with the Rochelet body. It is a very accelerated way to activate the Rochelet body, because if we weren't in the position we're in right now on this planet, in this Veka, it would be we would do one small aspect at a time and eventually build up to this point, probably in about 9 or 10 or maybe 12 years. But because now it's important, because if we don't activate the lights of aurora now, what will happen is the other lights, the lights of Metatron, will activate. The lights of the sextant will activate in the crystal body spheres. And progressively, you will build the Death Star capsule. And that is why there was a bit of an urgency in these transmissions tonight. Part of it was that we're on security clearance. It's too late now. The other ones can't do anything now because we're about to do this. But this is one of the closest security clearances I've ever seen, because usually they give me a clue. And this was all just given, like, in the last 2 hours, maybe 3, and, like, go try to articulate it. So, okay. What was that? I was just I was noticing that the pulse was building, and I could feel it. I was getting ready, like, almost to say, okay, they're going to say any time now, like, do this, right? Then it stopped, as if it came back. The earth pulse, that I could feel it jittering and building, then it kind of went back again. Okay, they said it's like an ocean wave. Don't worry, it'll be back. Great. Okay. Now, all right, it's still on an ebb. He said when it comes back the next time, which will be any minute now, it'll be a bit stronger than it was. Then it'll go back faster, and then it'll come back, and it'll be the third one. So we're going to feel that jitter is going to come again, then it's going to come back and disappear again. Then it's going to come, and that's going to be the big one. And that's the point when they're going to tell us to begin the process of activating the lights of aurora. And that involves what again? Sending a spark down. All right, spark. Just imagine a spark at the Azure, and you already have your Sadi spheres, and all of that is already activated in the fields from what you've done before. So all you need to do is form a heliotalic spark at your Azure when we say now's the time, and try to do this at one time where we'll go, all right, it'll be like this. It'll go, now's the time. Then we'll go inhale, then exhale, and we try to do it as a group. All right, so the timing hits all at the same time, because that means our sparks will hit the dormant aurora field all at the same time, and it will give it the strongest charge. And at that point, you can just let the breath relax, and there will be the corresponding activation from the Ishanue races of the other part of the aurora field. And then our pulse will continue going down. So I guess we're going to, when we exhale it down hard, then we just kind of hold at the bottom of the exhale for a bit. And then we'll say, bring it up, and we'll bring it up and all the way out again. And that's when we will raise the pillar, the pillar of aurora, where we bring the aurora field up into our ascension pillar. And from that point on, it will kind of do its own thing and turn on the lights of aurora progressively. All right. I'm not feeling the waves not coming back out yet. Okay. All right, they're saying get quiet for a minute again. See if you can feel it this time, because the second one is getting ready to release. It's all right. It released, is still way down low, but it's working its way back up. It'll be faster, shorter, but stronger than the one that was before, and it'll have a bit higher pitch to it. All right. All right, I just felt a zap. It's gone again. So you may feel a cold infusion in the lower parts of your body, like, like legs or in the lower middle section on that one as that one passed through. It's gone back down again. Okay. Oh, I just heard a screech from the earth core. Wow, that was a nasty sound, just like almost like a scream. And it's building. It's like a scream that is building into almost a mechanical sound, real high-pitched, like machine sound. Oh, yuck. Okay. All right. We're getting ready. It's coming up. It's riding on that sound wave. All right. All right. Now, inhale up. Hold for a minute. Then sharp down to the aurora field. Hold at the bottom of the exhale. Now inhale rapidly up and out, chakra 14. Literally blow at the top out, go up. Then breathe normally now. Try to sense the diameter of your ascension pillar as it was before, when you were doing the exercises before. There is a spiral of flashing pale but beautifully colored lights coming up in clockwise rotation up through the pillar. Oh, that was neat. When the spiral came up and it went past where chakra 14 is, all of a sudden it just collapsed, both from the top and from the bottom, and flattened out like a pancake into your density 2 shield here, and then spread out through the density 2 shield. I'm just narrating what I'm seeing. Right, the Ishanui are with us now. They are asking that to try to imagine your density 2 shield here now, coming from the Azure, and try to use your eyes of Rashaleh and just observe that all of these little lights, as if it's almost like a computer talking all the way through your shield, where all of the little shield encryptions are starting to talk with each other. And they are activating all sorts of symbols very, very quickly. And they look like many, many neon sign drawings run together. If you think of neon signs, and as if symbols and codes were made of neon, and they are flying through the shield. They'll expand from the Azure level outward and outward further through the shield. And they will seem as if they are expanding your Sade sphere all the way out to where you can't even see it or feel it anymore, as if your whole entire auric field is expanding and expanding outward and becoming huge and massive. But very, very calm and quiet and stable. There will be a point, and it will be different for everyone, of the critical mass expansion of these neon symbols of the aurora lights as they spread out horizontally through the horizontal shield. And at that point, the expansion will stop, and they will begin to arc upward and downward, and they will begin to run the outer meridian axiotonal line systems of the crystal body. And as that occurs, you may feel, rather than hear, at least in this part of your planet, the next
5 to 7 days are going to be, shall we say, potentially vulnerable periods. In the next 5 to 7 days, things will probably go all right. You may have a bit more quaking or a volcano or this or that here or there, but you have those anyway. If it gets more severe than that in the next 5 to 7 days, you have already experienced the activation sufficient to do a 3-day evac out. If it comes to that, the aurora field itself will activate those processes. And because you have the lights of aurora turned on, you will naturally be lifted out if anything severe is going to happen here. It doesn't mean you can't come back, because sometimes severe is temporary and it makes a mess, but then there's still, separation still not done. You can come back in, try to assist, those kind of things. You're going to begin the process of learning to go back and forth, learning to go between Idun and Outdun, if you want to look at it that way. The outer worlds and the middle worlds. That training will begin with your mental body and your emotional body and eventually your physical body. And it will all take place through the Rashalaya body. For each one of those mental, emotional, physical bodies, they all have their level of this. So you're progressively building each level of this. What's nice is, this is one of the quickest way to get your higher identity in. Usually you evolve up to your higher identity, then you're in density 2, then you go up to density 3. Whatever higher identities you have left up there, between your avatar self that's still fine and the parts in between, will be running in at this point. So you will have very fast soul integration if it isn't here already. You will have very fast over soul integration if it isn't here already, because you, as a Rashalaya activated being, will be the portal out, the portal that is capable of starfire for the entire identity cluster that is yours. Which means you should be getting progressively, and it will be modulated by your own core self so it doesn't overwhelm you. You will be getting more of your incarnational memories back online. And just remember, these are not who you are. These are a part of who you are that was in a different, simultaneous time placement. So don't let them overwhelm you, because sometimes you might get a memory of, I was so-and-so princess in Egypt. Yeah. And all of a sudden need to go, move to Egypt and put a tent up next to the pyramids, because you let the imprint emotionally of that identity overwhelm who you are here. You are just as important as any Egyptian princess you've ever been. Right? In fact, you're more important, because you've got something that one didn't have. You have got the lights of Aurora with you now. And it is a gift you can send to all of them out there, both the future ones and the past ones. This is the beginning. So, the beginning of actually what will be exciting and fun. We're probably running late, which usually happens when I come in. Actually not doing too bad. We're only 15 minutes past when we said. You're very tired. You're very tired probably too. You've had a very big day of activation. Bless you. I can see. I do believe, for this moment, so let me check with someone. What time do you think that would do? It was interesting at that time. Okay. All right. I was fear that they're saying and don't worry, you don't have to stay here for this. They just want you to know before we go that there is going to be, let's say, a reverb reaction in the planetary grids. It shouldn't be too strong, but it may be enough to make your energy fields feel funny and your pillar shake a bit. About 2:22 a.m., right in that time frame. 2:22 or a bit after, between 2:22 and 3:33. You don't have to be awake for it, but if you happen to get woke up by something in that time frame and it doesn't feel well, just breathe your Rashalaya. Now, breathe your Rashalaya simply means bring up your Sadi sphere, open your Sadi sphere, and just breathe to Eartha. Breathe the lights of Aurora gently, slowly up and down, and calm yourself. Tell your mind that you're all right now. The force of Aurora is with you. Listen to your body, because a part of your body will say the same thing. Try to focus on the part of your body that holds that vibe. It is like being held in your mother's arms, if you had a nice mother. It is, not everyone has, had a mother who was capable of comfort, but it is comforting. So part of your body, even if the other part responds to what is going through the earth at that time, there is the part that it also has a consistent, calm, stable. Look for, try to feel the part in your body. It might be localized. You might find that your left knee right now is running more of the aurora frequencies than any other part. And the rest of you may feel like screaming, laughing, crying, bouncing off walls. But your left knee may be very, very stable. Or perhaps it's the little toe on your right foot. Or perhaps your right ear. Or perhaps the whole right side of your body, but not the left. It may be very localized, but there will be a location in your body that holds the most concentration of what's biologically grounding right now into your cells. Try to find wherever it is, there's a calm, stable space. You may find several. That's fine. Go for the strongest one if you get woke up at that funny hour, or if you're awake at that funny hour and you start to feel funny. If you start to get nauseous, it is because of what is going to be releasing, the reverb reaction. And it's not reverb to even the red pulse. It's a reverb coming off of the threshold activation. And it has to do with the Death Star activation. If you get a sense of overwhelming fear, which some of you may, because some of you, not too many, but some of you were very, very close to, let's say, becoming part of the family of Madisran. And you will have much stronger receivers to the Death Star activations, but you have received the activations tonight, and you need to know this mentally, that even though your body, a part of it may want to freak because it feels like it is going to lose, it is going to go into Death Star activation, you need to keep your mind stable and say, no, this was given to us as a gift by the Aurora races who are with us now. That has been blocked. I have been given protection. I have asked for it by coming here. I have asked for it by trying to be a grid keeper and do help here. I have earned forgiveness. I forgive myself, and I will trust that I can build from this point on. However close I came to the brink of no return, it does not matter. Whatever I did before does not matter. What matters is what I do now. And every time I think, I do. What you think is what you do in energy. So do not let the fear, because the earth grids that are going in reverse will want to kick up the fight or flight, will want to make you afraid, will want to make you scream and be angry because you're convinced that you're going Death Star activation. You might have help with those who would, let's say, prefer that you kept them company and fell with them, or at least fell because if they're going to fall, you should too. There are those who have been with you that have had those attitudes, and there are bad attitudes, there are antichristic attitudes. You do not have to put up with it. You, by having these activations, have the chance now to stop whatever fall was occurring, if it was occurring in your fields. So I want you to know that. And if you get funny feelings in these hours in the morning, or even if it's a week later, but particularly watch out for that 222 to 333 in this sleep time before, in this morning coming. That will be a time when there will be a pulse. You could say it is a reverb counter pulse sent out because they know what we did now, which they didn't know before. So those who run threshold are going for head count. They particularly want to get Anu head count because Anu have codes. Anyone who has Anu overlays, underlays, or in between lays will be very valuable to them. There are certain dragon strains that are also trying to be reeled in by the negatives that way. If you're in this room, you don't have to be afraid of that. And you will give this protection field also outward to others who are not in this room. And they will have a protection and ability to get into the Rainbow Bridge also because of what's taking place now. So I will stop talking now, and I will give you back to she and to he and to yourselves. But know when you leave tonight, you now have the beginning connection, enough where they can hear you, where the Ishinue can hear you. The Aurora races are online with you because you have put yourself online and woke up the dormant force of aurora within this planetary body. You have given the gift to the planet, and the planet now gives it back to you. And this will begin a cycle of very exciting activations progressively. We'll talk more about those tomorrow, more of the technicals and a bit more on the history of who are these aurora people anyway. So I will say farewell for now, and see you in your dreams, and good night. And thank you, dear Asawan. Sleep well. Can I come back in? I'm just saying, huh? What? Sorry. We're just switching there. Wait a minute. Yeah, talk about sharing time. At least I know that one's me. You know, I don't channel anybody but myself. Those kind of things. That was Azara, by the way, the Azara level. So anybody that hasn't heard Transylvanian accent before that, you know, for my multi-dimensional Transylvanian accent, it just sounds like that. It's like the vampire people. You know, I kind of like it though. But anyway, that was Azara, and I will say goodnight too. And not she said, I guess, as much as needs to be said for now. Thank you for being patient, as always. I didn't say I'm sorry for being late, because they are telling me that doesn't work anymore. We're all here. No, that's true. What I am sorry for is my beloved husband is absolutely exhausted from reading all of that stuff and holding the frequencies to run those activations. They're hard to do. Thank all of you for being here. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. We are aiming for 3, because we have to go through and get the rest of the graphs and hopefully get some of these things on Mylar, which would be really useful to facilitate your understanding. So anyway, good night and see you tomorrow. And tomorrow I can't keep you up late because we have to do Shasta the next day, and I want everybody healthy and feeling good so you don't fall down the mountain. Okay? Good night.
Just a reminder before you all leave, there will be a breakfast buffet rather than in that little room. For those who are staying at the hotel, you'll